Captain Lena Hart gripped the control panel with trembling hands as the shuttle shook violently. Alarms screamed around her, lights flickering like dying stars. Her heart raced so fast it felt like it would burst through her chest. Space missions had always tested her nerves, but nothing had prepared her for this. The shuttle, meant for long-range exploration, was falling out of orbit, spiraling toward an unknown planet that appeared suddenly on her radar. Twin suns bathed the planet in an eerie green light, the surface shimmering with forests and mountains she had never seen on any star map. It was beautiful, almost hypnotic, yet terrifying. Lena's mind screamed warnings, but the controls barely responded. She remembered her training: focus, calm, assess. But focus felt impossible when the entire craft was shaking, twisting, and burning. Her fingers were numb, sweat stinging her eyes as she tried to stabilize the ship. A sudden jolt slammed her shoulder into the console. Pain shot through her ribs, stealing her breath. The shuttle's hull groaned like a wounded animal. Lena's vision blurred and panic clawed at her throat. Her mind flashed through memories: her childhood on Earth, her mother's warm smile, the day she graduated from the Space Academy. She wished, for the first time in years, that she could stop time, that she could somehow make this end without pain. Then came the impact. The shuttle slammed into the planet's surface with a force that lifted her off her seat. Glass shattered, metal bent, and the world outside turned into a whirl of green and gold light. Lena felt herself flying through the cabin, crashing against walls, limbs flailing uncontrollably. For a brief second, everything was chaos. Sound, color, and pain combined into a storm of sensation that left her gasping. And then, just like that, darkness swallowed her whole. When she awoke, the world was silent. Not the peaceful silence of sleep, but a quiet that pressed against her chest, making her heart ache with confusion and relief. She was lying on something soft and warm, a surface that molded to her body, easing the sharp pain in her ribs. Her shuttle was gone, reduced to twisted metal scattered like a child's broken toy. The forest outside stretched endlessly, bathed in a soft green glow that seemed alive. Strange plants pulsed faintly, as if breathing. Birds, or creatures resembling birds, glided silently through the sky, their wings glimmering with light Lena could not name. She tried to sit up, but every movement sent waves of agony through her body. And then she saw it. Standing at the edge of the room, partially cloaked in shadow, was an alien being. It was humanoid in shape, but ethereal, almost shimmering like liquid silver under the soft lights. Its eyes met hers, deep and knowing, carrying a calmness that made her pulse slow despite her fear. It did not speak aloud, but sent words directly into her mind, clear and soft. "Close your eyes, human. This will save your life." Lena wanted to scream, to run, to reject whatever was happening. Her body trembled uncontrollably. Yet despite the terror, she felt drawn to the alien's presence. Its gaze held no threat, only a quiet promise of help. A warmth began to spread through her chest, a soothing pulse that eased the tightness in her lungs. She followed the alien's instruction, shutting her eyes, surrendering to the unknown. For a moment, fear melted into trust, hesitation into a fragile hope. She could feel it then, a strange, almost invisible energy flowing through her body. Her broken ribs mended in slow, exquisite pulses. The pain faded like shadows at dawn. Every bruise, every scrape, every ache seemed to dissolve under the gentle, persistent force. Lena could feel her heartbeat steadying, her breathing becoming calm and deep. She could feel life returning, more vivid, more precious than ever before. She understood, without words, that this being could heal not just her body but perhaps her soul. And in that moment, lying on the soft surface, with the green glow of the forest outside and the alien's steady presence beside her, Lena felt the first flicker of hope she had known since the crash. She was alive. Somehow, against impossible odds, she had survived. Lena's eyes opened slowly, adjusting to the soft glow around her. The alien, Thalen, stood nearby, its shimmering form almost floating above the floor. She could see delicate patterns of light moving across its skin, like liquid silver flowing over stone. The room smelled faintly of warmth and something sweet she couldn't name. Every movement of the being was graceful, careful, almost as if it feared breaking the air around it. Lena tried to move, but pain still lingered in her side and ribs. Her hand shook as she reached for the wall to steady herself. Thalen's eyes, deep and knowing, seemed to pierce through her fear. Then softly the alien spoke, not with sound but inside her mind. "You are safe. Breathe. Feel the life within you. It is strong even after what has happened." The words were gentle, like water trickling over stones, and Lena felt herself listening, letting the tension in her shoulders loosen for the first time since the crash. Where am I?" she whispered aloud, her voice rough and unsteady. She tried again, clearer. "What are you?" Thalen inclined its head, the silver light rippling across its skin. "I am a healer. You were broken, human. Your body, your mind, even your spirit, all touched by the crash. You need care, and I can give it." Lena's chest tightened. She had survived countless dangers in space, but this was something else entirely. She wanted to ask more questions, demand answers, but her body felt weak, her thoughts foggy, and a strange sense of trust took root despite her disbelief. She realized that fear could not guide her now. Only hope could. Thalen moved closer, and Lena noticed that its hands emitted a soft glow, faintly warm like sunlight on cold skin. Without touching her, it hovered over her shoulder and chest, and Lena felt a strange, tingling sensation spreading from her ribs outward. Her muscles relaxed, her breaths deepened, and the sharp ache in her body began to fade. She blinked, astonished. It was like the pain itself was being rewritten, carefully erased by some invisible force. You're healing me," Lena whispered, her voice trembling with wonder. She had read about alien medicine, advanced technologies and biosuits, but nothing could explain this. She wanted to resist, to distrust the impossible, but the relief in her chest and the steadiness returning to her heartbeat silenced all doubt. "Not only your body, human," Thalen continued, its tone soft, almost reverent, "but your fear. Fear weakens life. Close your eyes, trust what is happening." Lena obeyed, letting her eyelids fall, letting herself surrender to this strange, gentle power. She felt the warmth grow like sunlight spreading through every vein, every nerve, and every cell. It wasn't magic and it wasn't a machine. She realized it was something deeper, something alive. As her pain melted away, Lena's mind cleared. She remembered the crash, the wild forests outside, and the realization of how close she had come to death. Tears slid down her cheeks, not from sorrow but from awe. She had always believed in human resilience, in grit and determination, but this was beyond what she could have imagined. Her thoughts drifted to her crew, to the missions she had led, to the dangers she had survived. She felt a spark of purpose ignite inside her. If something like this existed, if a being could restore life so completely, then the universe held far more than humanity had ever understood. And for a brief, fleeting moment, Lena felt not fear, but gratitude, wonder, and a fragile sense of hope. When she finally opened her eyes, Thalen was still there, watching her, waiting. Its presence was calm, unwavering, like a lighthouse in a storm. Lena realized with a shiver that she had survived not because of luck or skill or technology, but because someone or something had chosen to save her. And for the first time in her life, she understood that life itself could be a gift so powerful, it could not be measured by human hands. Lena took a deep, steadying breath, feeling the strength return to her body. She was no longer just a survivor of a crash. She was alive, healed, and changed. And the alien healer beside her was the first proof that life could rise, even from the edge of death, in ways humanity had yet to imagine. Lena stayed still, watching Thalen move across the softly glowing room. Every gesture was precise, almost like a dance, yet somehow full of warmth and care. She felt the lingering hum of energy around her, the same force that had healed her injuries. Curiosity stirred inside her, pushing past the awe and gratitude. She had to know. How are you doing this?" she asked, voice small but insistent. Thalen paused, hovering closer. Its luminous eyes seemed to pierce into Lena's very thoughts, yet without judgment, only understanding. "Healing is not only about restoring the body," it said, words flowing gently into her mind. "It is about understanding life itself, its energy, its balance. Pain is not always physical. It lives in fear, in doubt, in loss. To heal, one must touch all of it. Lena blinked, trying to comprehend. She had studied human medicine, learned anatomy, biology, even advanced biotechnology, but none of it explained this. There were no machines, no chemicals, not even instruments of surgery. And yet her broken ribs, torn muscles, and bruised skin had been restored within moments. "But it's impossible," she whispered. "We can't do this. Humans, we can't." Thalen's gaze softened, almost sad. "Humans are strong," it replied, "but often they rely too much on tools and ignore what flows within. Life itself can be a healer if you allow it. You feared death, human, but you trusted enough to let go. That trust allowed me to work." Lena shivered. Somehow the alien's explanation made sense on a level deeper than logic. It was not magic. It was understanding, an intimate knowledge of life, of energy, of being. Her mind raced, imagining how such knowledge could change everything. Wars, illnesses, suffering, it could end if humans learned even a fraction of this wisdom. Yet a shadow fell over her excitement. If this power existed, it was dangerous too. In the wrong hands, it could become a weapon, a tool for control, a source of fear rather than hope. Her chest tightened with a sudden heavy weight. Could she take this knowledge back to Earth? Would humanity be ready? Before she could voice her doubts, Thalen extended a hand toward her, the light around it pulsing gently. "Healing is not ownership," it said. "It cannot be stolen or forced. It is a choice and a responsibility. You survived the crash not by accident but because you were ready to receive what was needed." Lena looked down at her own hands, still shaking slightly, and felt the truth of those words settle inside her. Survival was never random. It required courage, trust, and a willingness to surrender to forces greater than oneself. For a long moment, silence filled the chamber. Outside, the forest shimmered in quiet waves of green light, the twin suns casting patterns that danced across broken leaves and glistening streams. Lena realized she was not alone, not just with Thalen, but with the universe itself. Life extended far beyond human understanding, and somehow it had chosen to intervene in her favor. Her thoughts drifted to home, to her crew, and to all the humans who had ever faced impossible odds. She felt a deep, aching responsibility settle over her. This secret, this knowledge of healing, could save countless lives, but it could also destroy if misunderstood. She swallowed hard, her pulse steadying under the gentle rhythm of Thalen's presence. Finally she spoke aloud, her voice firmer this time. "Teach me. If I can learn, I want to understand. Not just for me, but for them." Thalen's glow seemed to deepen, shimmering brighter than before. "To learn, you must be patient. Healing is not only in the hands. It is in the mind, the heart, the soul. One cannot rush it nor claim it. You must feel life as it is in every form and respond with respect." Lena nodded slowly, a sense of calm determination spreading through her. She was no longer just a survivor of the crash. She was a student, an observer, and perhaps, in time, a messenger. The alien's secret was more than a gift. It was a responsibility, one that could change everything she knew about life, hope, and what it meant to be human. And for the first time, Lena felt something she had never felt in her entire career as a captain. A fragile, trembling sense of purpose, tied not to missions or medals, but to the quiet, unstoppable force of life itself. Lena had begun to feel stronger each day. Her body moved with ease now, her wounds completely healed. Yet, as she stepped outside the glowing chamber into the forest, a strange unease settled over her. The air vibrated with life, but not all of it was gentle. Massive shadows moved between the trees, creatures unlike anything she had ever seen. Their skin shimmered like stone, muscles bulging under glowing veins, eyes glinting with predatory intelligence. Her stomach clenched. She had survived the crash, she had been healed, but would that be enough against these beasts? Thalen appeared beside her silently, its presence calm yet commanding. "Do not let fear control you," it said in her mind. "Close your eyes, human, trust." Lena swallowed hard. Her instincts screamed to run, to hide, to grab any weapon and fight. But the alien's words carried a weight she could not ignore. She pressed her palms to her eyes and took a trembling breath, focusing on the pulse she had felt when it healed her. At first, nothing happened. The creatures drew closer, the ground trembling under their massive weight. Lena could hear their low, guttural growls vibrating through the air. Her muscles tensed, her mind screaming panic. Then she felt it, a subtle warmth spreading from her chest outward, mingling with the fear and tension in her body. It was the same energy Thalen had used to heal her, but now it felt alive within her, like her own heartbeat was merging with the rhythm of the planet. Slowly, Lena opened her eyes. The beasts paused, their heads tilting as if sensing something unfamiliar. Their glowing eyes met hers, and for the first time she realized they were not attacking. They were assessing, waiting, listening. Her fear began to dissolve, replaced by a strange, exhilarating clarity. She could feel the life force around her, the trees, the soil, the creatures, and a part of her understood it all intuitively. Her body moved without thought, standing taller, shoulders back, eyes steady. Thalen's presence was beside her, warm and grounding. "Life respects life," it whispered. "When you honor it, even the strongest predators pause. Trust what you feel. You are part of this world now, human." Lena's mind struggled to comprehend. How could she, a fragile human, command the respect of these enormous beings? Yet deep inside she felt a connection, a thread linking her to everything around her. A massive shadow lunged suddenly, a predator testing its boundaries. Lena's pulse quickened, but she remained calm. She focused on the warmth in her chest, on the quiet rhythm of life flowing through her. The creature skidded to a stop, lowering itself slightly, muscles coiled in caution rather than aggression. Lena exhaled slowly, a mix of relief and awe flooding her senses. Her body felt lighter, her mind sharper, as if she had tapped into a power greater than fear or instinct. Hours passed, yet Lena continued to explore the forest with Thalen. She encountered rivers that glowed faintly under the twin suns, plants that moved subtly when she approached, and small creatures that watched her with curious eyes. Each encounter tested her patience and courage, yet every time she relied on the pulse of life within her, she found that danger could be met with respect, not force. Her confidence grew, but she knew this was only the beginning. As night fell, painting the sky with streaks of green and gold, Lena realized she had changed. The crash had left her broken, the alien had healed her, and now the forest itself had taught her to trust, to listen, to survive in ways she had never imagined. She was no longer just a human lost on an alien world. She was alive, aware, and beginning to understand that survival depended not on weapons or skill alone, but on courage, empathy, and the quiet power of life itself. For the first time she smiled, not out of relief but out of deep understanding. The forest and its dangers were not her enemies. They were teachers, and with Thalen's guidance she would learn every lesson it had to offer. Days had passed since Lena first woke in the alien chamber. Each morning the forest greeted her with glowing leaves and gentle sounds, yet every day brought new questions and a heavier sense of responsibility. She had learned to walk without fear among the strange creatures, to feel the pulse of life that Thalen had taught her to sense. Her body was fully healed, her mind sharper, and yet an invisible weight pressed on her chest. She had survived, but she wondered, what now? Thalen approached her one morning, its glowing form reflecting the soft sunlight filtering through the alien canopy. "You have learned quickly, human," it said in her mind. "But your path is not yet decided. You can leave this world with knowledge that can change the lives of many, or return to your people as you were, untouched and ignorant." Lena froze, her pulse quickening. Knowledge, the ability to heal others, to ease pain, to save lives, was now within her grasp. She could take it back to humanity, teach what she had learned, perhaps even prevent suffering that she had witnessed in so many wars and disasters. But fear rose alongside her excitement. Humanity was not ready for this power. In the wrong hands, it could become a weapon, a tool of greed and domination. She swallowed hard, the forest's warmth failing to calm her uncertainty. Her thoughts raced. She remembered the soldiers she had treated in simulations, the crew she had lost on other missions, the families she had seen grieve over lives cut short. Could she bear the responsibility if this knowledge caused harm? Could she choose to share life itself and risk the destruction it might bring? Lena's hands trembled. She had faced death countless times, but now she faced something more terrifying, the weight of choice. Thalen's presence was steady beside her, radiating quiet patience. Choice is never simple, human, it said. But fear does not decide for you. Life decides through you. You must feel what is right, not what is convenient or safe. Remember, survival is not enough. True life is a gift, and gifts require care. Lena closed her eyes and took a deep, steadying breath. She imagined the humans she had left behind, the friends and families, the children she would never meet. She imagined a world where pain could be healed, where hope could flourish, where life could rise above cruelty and suffering. Her chest tightened, tears brimming in her eyes. The choice was no longer about herself. It was about everyone else. She opened her eyes slowly. The forest seemed to hold its breath, the twin suns casting long, golden shadows across the glowing foliage. Lena's voice was soft but steady. "I will not take it, not yet. Humanity is not ready for this. But I will remember, I will learn, and one day," she paused, trembling, "one day I will know when to share it." Thalen's light pulsed, warmer now, almost approving. "Patience, human, understanding grows with time. You have chosen wisely. Knowledge is powerful, but wisdom guides its use. You are alive, not just in body, but in purpose. That is what makes you strong." For the first time since the crash, Lena felt a sense of clarity. She was alive, healed, and changed. The alien world had taught her more than survival. It had taught her discernment, courage, and humility. She realized that some gifts were too vast to share recklessly, that life itself required respect before it could be given. She looked at the glowing horizon, the forest stretching endlessly beyond, and felt a quiet resolve settle over her. She had been tested by fear, healed by compassion, and now guided by wisdom. Whatever came next, returning to her people, facing the unknown, she would carry the lessons of this alien world with her, deep within her heart. And in that moment, standing among trees that pulsed with life, Lena understood something profound. Survival was only the beginning. True strength was measured not in what one could take, but in what one chose to protect, honor, and nurture. And she, human and fragile though she was, would rise to that challenge. The shuttle waited at the edge of the forest, half buried in soft, glowing moss that seemed to pulse with life. Lena stepped toward it, each movement steady, full of purpose. Her body felt strong, healed completely by Thalen's care, yet her mind carried a new weight, the responsibility of what she had learned, the knowledge of life's quiet power. As she neared the shuttle, she turned back to the alien. Thalen stood among the trees, its glowing form almost blending with the forest's light. Its eyes met hers, serene and unwavering. "You are ready," it said in her mind. "The choice was yours, human. You have accepted your path." Lena nodded, swallowing the lump in her throat. She had chosen patience, but now the moment had come to return to her people. She had been given a second chance at life, and she would honor it by living fully, by remembering what mattered most. The shuttle hummed beneath her hands as she climbed inside. Instruments flickered to life, reacting to her touch as if acknowledging her presence. Lena pressed a hand to the control panel, feeling the vibrations of the engines beneath her palms. Everything was familiar and yet changed. She was the same pilot, the same human who had survived countless missions, but something inside her had shifted. She was stronger, calmer, wiser, and more aware of life's fragile beauty. As the engines roared, lifting the shuttle from the forest floor, Lena looked out at the planet stretching beneath her. The glowing forests, the rivers that shimmered like liquid light, the mountains glowing under twin suns, they all seemed to watch her leave, like friends bidding her farewell. And in that moment she felt something profound. The world had changed her, and she would carry its lessons forever. Thalen's voice entered her mind one last time. "Remember, human, life is more than survival. Trust, empathy, and courage are stronger than fear or force. You have learned well." Lena closed her eyes, letting the words sink in. She could feel them not just in her mind, but in her body, in every pulse of energy, in every beat of her heart. The journey back to human space was long, and Lena spent much of it reflecting. She thought about the lives she had left behind, the people who might never see this world, and the fragile balance between knowledge and wisdom. She realized that true strength was not in what one could achieve, but in understanding when to act, when to wait, and when to protect what was sacred. When she finally approached the human colonies, the familiar stars filling the viewport, Lena's chest tightened with anticipation. She was returning as a survivor, yet she carried something far greater than survival. She carried hope, tempered with patience. She carried the memory of an alien healer who had taught her that life itself could be nurtured and strengthened in ways no human technology could match. As she prepared to land, Lena felt a deep gratitude for Thalen, for the forest, and for the crash that had forced her into this transformation. She was not the same human who had boarded the shuttle days ago. She had touched something extraordinary, and it had left an imprint on her soul. The landing was smooth, yet Lena's mind was elsewhere. She looked at the bustling colonies, at people rushing through routines, unaware of the universe's quiet miracles. She wondered when, or if, humanity would be ready to understand the lessons she had learned. For now she would walk among them as herself, healed and whole, carrying the secret of life in her heart. Finally she stepped out of the shuttle, feeling the solid ground beneath her feet. The wind carried the smell of earth, sharp and alive. Lena took a deep breath, steadying herself, feeling the rhythm of life around her. She had returned, but she was not the same. She had learned that survival was only the beginning, that life itself was a force that could be guided with empathy and courage. And she knew, deep inside, that she would never forget the lesson Thalen had given her: to trust life, even in the darkest moments, and to rise stronger than ever. And as Lena walked into the colony, blending among the humans she had once called her world, she carried a quiet, unshakable truth. The universe was bigger, wiser, and more alive than she had ever imagined. She had been healed, not just in body but in spirit. And that, she knew, would guide every choice she made from that moment forward. Lena walked through the bustling colony, her steps steady, yet her mind was alive with reflection. Everything seemed familiar: the chatter of humans, the hum of engines, the smell of metal and food. But she perceived it differently now. Every breath, every movement, every glance carried life. The crash, the forest, Thalen, they had opened her eyes to something beyond human understanding. She was healed not just in body, but in spirit, and she knew she could never go back to seeing the world the same way. She passed a small medical tent where a young soldier lay injured, his face pale and eyes wide with fear. Lena's heart tightened as she remembered the terror she had felt in the alien forest, the helplessness in her own chest as the predators approached. But she also remembered the warmth, the pulse of life, the quiet power that Thalen had shown her. Kneeling beside him, she placed a hand over his chest, instinctively sensing the rhythm of life beneath his skin. "Close your eyes," she whispered gently, the words echoing Thalen's own. At first nothing seemed to happen. The soldier's breath was shallow and his fingers trembled. Lena kept her hand steady, focusing, feeling, trusting. Slowly warmth spread from her palm into his body, seeping into every muscle, every vein, every aching place. The tension in his face eased. His breathing grew calm. And then, almost imperceptibly, a spark of strength returned to him, the color creeping back into his cheeks. The soldier blinked, opening his eyes to meet Lena. His fear had faded, replaced by wonder. "How?" he whispered, unable to find the words. Lena smiled softly, feeling a profound joy swell inside her. She had never held such power before, yet it did not feel like power. It felt like connection, responsibility, and compassion. She realized then that life itself could heal, if one knew how to listen and respond with care. As the days passed, Lena quietly helped others. She never boasted or explained the alien world, but she shared what she could: patience, attention, empathy, trust. People began to recover faster, not because of machines or medicine alone, but because Lena had learned to touch the rhythm of life itself. Her reputation spread quietly among those who noticed miracles in small ways: a faster recovery, a calm after panic, a strength returning that seemed almost impossible. And Lena, walking among them, felt a deep satisfaction, knowing she honored the lessons Thalen had given her. Yet she also remembered the choice she had made. The alien knowledge was a secret she could not fully share yet. Humanity was strong, yes, but it was also reckless. One day, perhaps, she would teach more. One day, humans might be ready to understand the quiet, untouchable power that could save lives without weapons or fear. Until then, she would be a guardian, a messenger in spirit, preparing humanity to rise higher than they had ever imagined. One evening, Lena stood outside, looking at the stars that stretched endlessly across the sky. The twin suns of the alien planet were gone, but she could still feel their warmth in memory, the pulse of that world lingering inside her. She thought of Thalen, of the forest, of the lessons of trust, patience, and courage. She realized that life was not about surviving the worst, but about choosing how to act in the face of it. Survival was a gift, but so was the wisdom to use it well. A small smile touched her lips as she walked back to her quarters. She was human, fragile in body yet strong in spirit. She had been broken and healed, tested and taught. And she knew deep within her heart that this knowledge, the understanding of life's quiet strength, was the greatest gift she could carry. As sleep claimed her that night, Lena felt a profound peace. She had faced death, been touched by alien grace, and returned to share hope in subtle ways. The universe was vast and full of mysteries, but she had learned a truth that no starship, weapon, or human invention could teach: to trust life, to honor it, and to rise stronger than fear. And in that trust, humanity could one day become something greater, something worthy of the universe itself.